what are the dead people doing right now in Hades? Have you ever wondered what happens the moment you die? Does everything fade into darkness? Or do you wake up somewhere else? Somewhere beyond time, beyond the reach of the living? A place where your deeds, every thought, every choice, are finally judged? Tonight, we pull back the veil. We step into the unknown. We venture into Hades, the shadowed realm where souls linger, waiting, suffering, repenting. Some are lost, screaming into the abyss. Others cry out, hoping for mercy that may never come. What if I told you that some of them, right now, might be people you once knew? A father, a mother, a friend, paying for sins they never thought would matter. But what about you? What will happen when your heart beats for the last time? Will you open your eyes to a radiant light? Or will you feel the crushing weight of eternal regret? No second chances, no turning back, just Hades stretching endlessly before you. In this chilling journey, you will witness the truth, not through myths, not through fairy tales, but through the visions of saints, prophets, and those who have seen what awaits beyond the grave. You will hear their warnings. You will see the horrors of the lost and the hope of the redeemed. By the end of this video, you will know. You will understand what the dead are doing right now in Hades. And perhaps you will ask yourself the most terrifying question of all. Where will you be? This is not just a story. It is not fiction, not a metaphor. This was a vision, a warning seen by the saints, the chosen ones, those whom God allowed to glimpse into eternity. St. Faustina Kowalska, St. Don Bosco, St. Catherine of Siena, they all saw it. They all spoke of it, and they all begged us to listen. St. Don Bosco, a beloved priest, dreamed of Hades more than once. In one vision, he saw lost souls crying out for a second chance, their faces filled with regret. St. Faustina Kowalska, known for her visions of Christ's divine mercy, was shown the torments of the damned and warned of the souls who ignored God's call until it was too late. St. Catherine of Siena, a doctor of the church, spoke of souls who were once blessed with faith but chose comfort over commitment, sleep over salvation, and now they burn with regret. These are not hallucinations. These were not dreams conjured by fear. They were messages, prophecies, urgent cries from the eternal realm, meant to shake us awake before it's too late. And in these visions, they all saw him, the man who now lies in agony, his skull crushed over and over, paying the price for his wasted years. The man who slept through his salvation. Let me tell you about this man. A man whose fate is sealed. A man who, even now, as you sit in your home, sipping your coffee, adjusting your chair, is trapped in a torment that never ends. He lies on the cold, unforgiving ground of Hades, staring at the darkness above. He cannot move. He cannot run. He cannot wake up from this nightmare. A shadow looms over him. A figure, tall, merciless, lifts a stone the size of a boulder high above its head. The man below sees it coming. He knows what's next. He has lived this moment thousands of times, yet the horror never fades. With a force beyond human strength, the stone comes crashing down, shattering his skull. Blood spills, bones crack, then silence. A terrible, endless silence. But only for a moment. The wound closes. His head is made whole again. And then it happens again, over and over, forever. Who is this man? What has he done to deserve this? The saints and prophets who have seen this vision have spoken. They say he was a man who slept through his days, slept through his calling, slept through his faith. Not the sleep of the weary, but the sleep of the apathetic, the lazy, the indifferent. He knew the truth but ignored it. He had chances, but he wasted them. His soul had been warned, but he had shrugged it off. He thought he had time. He thought he could push God aside, just a little longer. One more night, one more morning, one more year. But death does not wait. It comes unexpected, unforgiving. And when it did, he woke up, not in his bed, but here, in Hades, with no way out. How many of us are doing the same thing? How many mornings have we hit the snooze button on our faith? How many Sundays have we rolled over, promising, "Next week, Lord. I'll pray next week. I'll go to church next time." How many moments has God called you? Through a sermon, through a whisper in your heart, through the tears of someone begging you to listen. Yet you turned away, thinking there was still time. But what if there isn't? What if, tonight, you close your eyes and never open them again? Will you wake up in the presence of angels? Or will you wake up trapped, staring at the darkness, waiting for judgment? This man in Hades, he knows the answer now, but it is too late. You, my friend, still have a choice. In the visions of St. Don Bosco, St. Faustina, and St. Catherine of Siena, the saints did not see a single chamber of torment. They saw countless souls, each paying the price for the choices they made. And among them was a man, another man, whose punishment was like no other. He too lies in Hades, but his suffering is different, more gruesome, more personal. This man does not feel the weight of a stone. He feels the ripping of his own flesh. Over and over, the man who destroyed with his words. Imagine this. A man kneels in the darkness, trembling, waiting. His hands grip the ground beneath him, but there is no escape. Behind him, a shadow moves. A figure, silent, merciless, holds a long, gleaming hook of brass. The man tries to turn, tries to plead, but before he can speak, the hook is plunged into his mouth, slicing through his cheek, ripping across his face to his ear. He gasps, chokes, the pain unbearable. Blood pours from a wound, hot and thick. He barely has time to breathe before it happens again. On the other side, the hook rips through his flesh, tearing his lips apart, shredding his skin. His face, his very identity, is destroyed piece by piece. But it does not end. As soon as one side is torn away, it is healed. Fresh skin replaces the wound. Whole again, as if nothing had happened. But then, it happens again, and again, and again. This is his eternity. This is his judgment. And why? Because when he was alive, his words were his weapon. This man was given the gift of speech, a voice, a tone, but he did not use it for truth. He did not use it to heal. He did not use it to lift up those around him. No, he lied. He gossiped. He destroyed reputations with whispers and rumors. He walked into rooms, smiled at friends, then turned and poisoned their names when they weren't looking. He spread slander like wildfire. Watching as families crumbled, friendships shattered, lives were ruined. But did he care? No, because to him, it was just words. Just talk. He never thought it mattered. He never thought God was listening. But now, in Hades, he knows the truth. Now, he understands that words are not harmless. They are sharp as knives, heavy as stones. They build or they destroy. They heal or they kill. And for every lie he told, every rumor he spread, his own mouth is now being torn apart. Think, have you ever spoken words you wish you could take back? Have you ever whispered behind someone's back, knowing it wasn't true? Have you ever repeated something just because it was interesting, not because it was right? How many lives have been ruined by a single sentence? How many families have suffered because of a careless whisper? Now imagine this. Imagine standing before God, and he shows you every word you have ever spoken, every cruel comment, every false accusation, every careless rumor. Would you be able to bear it? Or would you, like this man in Hades, realize, too late, that words have consequences? The saints saw this man, they heard his screams. They warned us, not to scare us, but to save us. Because this doesn't have to be your fate. You, my friend, still have time. But how much? That is a question only God knows. The air in Hades is thick with suffering. The man whose skull is crushed screams in agony. The man whose face is torn apart wails in torment. But there's another cry, a gurgling, choking sound, a voice muffled beneath the weight of something thick, dark, endless. It is the sound of a man drowning. The saints saw him. St. Faustina, St. Don Bosco, St. Catherine of Siena. Their visions spoke of a man forever trapped, forever choking, forever reaching for salvation that will never come. But this is no ordinary drowning. No ocean, No water. This man is sinking, gasping, fighting for breath in a lake of blood. 3. The man who worshipped wealth. Do you know him? Perhaps you do. Perhaps you've met someone like him before. He was successful once, respected, admired. He had money, power, influence. He knew how to make a deal, how to turn a profit, how to build an empire. But there was never enough. The hunger for more consumed him. More money, more land, more power. He wanted everything at any cost. And so he took. He took from the poor, squeezing them dry with debts they could never repay. He took from the desperate, lending with interest so high it crushed them. He took from the weak, from the widows, from the struggling father trying to feed his children. He did not care who suffered as long as he gained. And now he suffers. In Hades, he swims through a sea of blood, his own and the blood of those he bled dry in life. Every stroke is heavy. Every movement is slow. His body aches, his lungs burn. The weight of his sins pulls him down deeper, deeper, as if the hands of those he once oppressed are dragging him into the abyss. But there is no rest. At the edge of the lake, a dark figure stands. In its hands, heavy stones, jagged and cold. The man struggles toward the shore, reaching out, gasping, begging. But before he can speak, a stone is shoved into his mouth. He gags. He chokes. He tries to spit it out. But he cannot. He must swallow it. And once he does, he is forced to swim to the other side, carrying the weight of his greed within him. When he arrives, another stone is waiting. Another mouthful of judgment. Another crushing reminder of what he has done. And so he swims, back and forth, swallowing, choking, drowning, never escaping. This is his eternity. How many men and women walk this earth today, chasing money at any cost? How many businesses thrive on the suffering of the poor? How many live in luxury, while others break beneath the weight of debt, hunger, despair? Have you ever looked away when someone was in need? Have you ever held onto what you didn't truly need while others went without? Have you ever thought, it's just business? It's just how the world works? That's what this man thought too. He believed money was power. He believed wealth would protect him. He believed he was untouchable. But death doesn't care how much is in your bank account. The grave doesn't accept bribes. And in Hades, his wealth means nothing. Now he knows the truth. But it is too late. Look around you. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. What will you chase? What will you value? When your time comes, what will your hands be holding? A life full of love, generosity, and faith? Or fists clenched around riches that cannot follow you beyond the grave? The man in Hades would give everything to change his fate. But he can't. You still can. 4. The burning furnace, the price of unholy desires. The man drowning in blood is still gasping, still struggling. The man whose skull is crushed lies in agony, unable to wake from his endless nightmare. And the man whose face is torn apart, he no longer screams. He has no voice left to cry. But Hades is vast. Its chambers stretch farther than the eye can see. And in the distance, a glow. Not the glow of heaven. Not the warm, golden light of God's presence. This glow is red, flickering, writhing. It is fire, and inside it they burn. They stand inside a furnace, naked, trembling. Their bodies are pressed together, yet each one feels utterly alone. Beneath them, flames roar, licking at their feet, wrapping around their legs. They scream. They cry. The fire rises, swallowing them whole. Their skin blackens. Their flesh melts. But then it stops. The fire vanishes. Their skin heals. Their pain fades. For a moment, they think it's over. Then, the flames return, and the suffering begins again. Over and over. Forever. Who are they? What did they do? These are the ones who surrendered to lust, to adultery, to desires that defiled their souls. They thought passion was harmless. They thought pleasure was a game. They chased the thrill, ignoring the consequences, ignoring the vows they made, ignoring the hearts they broke. They told themselves it was love. But love does not destroy. Love does not deceive. Love does not betray. And yet they did. They shattered marriages. They crushed trust. They left behind children who no longer knew what a family looked like. And now, in Hades, they stand together in fire. Yet, there is no love here. No plaisir. No escape. In today's world, sin is celebrated. Affairs are entertainment. Infidelity is excused. Lust is marketed, sold, and consumed like it has no cost. But it does. It destroys families. It tears apart hearts. It leaves wounds that never heal. And in the end, it demands a price. Have you ever justified something you knew was wrong? Have you ever thought, it's just one time? No one will know. No one will get hurt. That's what they thought too. And now they are paying for it. The fire is real. The torment is real. And so is the way out. Repent. Turn away while there is still time. Because when the flames of Hades rise, there will be no second chances. 5. The souls with half-burned faces, the weight of a wasted life. The fire rages, consuming those who surrendered to lust. The drowning man still chokes, his greed weighing him down. The crushed skull, the torn face, each soul suffers in silence. But there's another group, another kind of torment, one that is neither drowning, nor burning, nor bleeding. These souls stand together, yet they are not whole. Their bodies are divided, their faces split in two. One side, bright, radiant, almost beautiful. The other, blackened, burned, twisted with suffering. They shiver, standing at the edge of a river, its waters calm, clear, waiting. They hesitate. Then one by one they step forward. They were not murderers. They were not thieves. They were not the wicked who spat in the face of God. But they were also not righteous. They lived between. 1 foot in the world, 1 foot in faith. They prayed when it was convenient. They believed when it benefited them. They did good, but only when others were watching. They were lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, neither fully lost nor fully saved. And now, they bear the marks of their indecision. Half of them is whole, half of them is burned. They step into the river, letting its waters wash over them. The scars begin to fade. The pain begins to ease. They are not like the others in Hades. They have hope, but they also have regret, because now they see what they missed. Now, they know what they could have had. How many people sit in church every Sunday, but never truly surrender? How many live halfway for God, balancing faith with the pleasures of this world? How many believe, but never fully commit? How many waste their lives thinking there's always time? Time to be better, time to grow, time to change, but time runs out. What will you see when you stand before God? A life of faith, devotion, and surrender? Or a life of hesitation, compromise, and regret? The souls in Hades understand now, but it is too late for them. It is not too late for you. Step into the waters while you still can. Surrender now, fully, completely, because when the doors of eternity close, there is no turning back. 6. The man among the children, the destiny of the pure at heart. The suffering in Hades is endless. The man with the crushed skull still writhes in agony. The liar's face continues to be torn apart, his screams echoing in the darkness. The greedy man chokes on his own wealth, drowning in the blood of his victims. The adulterers burn in the endless furnace, paying the price for their unholy desires. The souls of the lukewarm tremble at the edge of the river, realizing too late what they have lost. But then the darkness shifts. A light appears, gentle yet strong, pushing back the shadows. It does not flicker like fire. It does not waver like false hope. It is steady, radiant, unshaken. And in the midst of it, a man stands. He is unlike the others in Hades. His face is not twisted in agony. His body is not scarred by torment. Instead, he stands tall, peaceful, unshaken. His beard is white as snow. His eyes hold the wisdom of ages. Around him, the air is pure, untouched by the stench of death. And at his feet, children gather. Countless children. Their laughter fills the air. Their faces shine with joy. They run to him, arms open, eyes full of trust. He kneels, smiling, embracing them with the tenderness of a father. And as he holds them, they are safe. But who is he? Why is he here, in a place like this? The saints have spoken of this man. St. Faustina, St. Don Bosco, St. Catherine of Siena. They saw him in their visions, standing among the pure at heart. A protector, a guardian, a father. Some say he is Abraham, the father of many nations. Some say he is St. Joseph, the earthly father of Christ. But no matter his name, his purpose is clear. He watches over the children. The ones who died before their time. The ones taken too soon. The ones whose lives ended before they could even begin. The world calls them lost, forgotten. But here, in this place, they are neither. They are found. They are protected. They are home. For every soul suffering in Hades, there are those who are saved. For every cry of agony, there is laughter among the redeemed. And the difference? The heart. These children were pure, untouched by sin. They never had the chance to choose right or wrong, to turn away from God or surrender to Him. And because of that, they are held close, shielded by the mercy of the Father. But what about you? You're no longer a child. You have lived. You have chosen. You have walked this world, making decisions that will shape your eternity. So ask yourself, where will you stand? Will you find yourself in the light, among the innocent? Or will you be among the lost, crying out for a second chance that will never come? Hades is real. Heaven is real. The consequences of your life are real. The man in the garden stands as a reminder. There is a place for the faithful. There is protection for the innocent. There is mercy for the repentant. But the time to decide is now. Because once you take your last breath, your fate is sealed. 7. The disfigured souls. The consequences of a divided heart. The children laugh in the light. The man among them watches with gentle eyes, shielding them from the horrors of Hades. But beyond the garden, beyond the safety of his presence, the suffering continues. And among the tormented, there is a group unlike the rest. They do not scream as the adulterers do. They do not choke like the greedy. They do not burn like the faithless. But their pain is no less real. Their suffering is of a different kind, the suffering of regret. They stand in the shadows, watching the river before them. Their hands tremble. Their eyes are heavy with sorrow. And their bodies, half of them whole, half of them ruined. One side radiant, the other scorched, disfigured. They touch their faces, tracing the jagged line where light meets darkness, where beauty meets horror. They know what they are. They were once divided souls, men and women who lived their lives in between, never fully wicked, never fully righteous. They believed in God, but not enough to obey. They feared hell, but not enough to change. They prayed, but only when it was convenient. They were faithful on Sundays, sinful on Mondays. They sang hymns in the morning, gossiped in the afternoon. They gave to charity, but only for show. They never truly rejected God, but they never truly followed Him either. And now it shows. The saints saw them. St. Faustina, St. Don Bosco, St. Catherine of Siena. In their visions, they witnessed souls who had lived for both heaven and earth, but in the end belonged to neither. And so they wait, not fully condemned, not fully saved. Their good deeds were real, but so were their sins. Their faith was real, but so was their doubt. Their love for God was real, but so was their love for the world. And now they stand here, half redeemed, half ruined. They gaze at the river before them, knowing what they must do. Step in, be cleansed, be purified, but cleansing comes with pain. The filth of their choices must be washed away. The scars of their compromises must be erased. The part of them that clung to sin must die, so that the rest may live. And so they hesitate, because even now, even after death, they fear the cost of surrender. How many live like this today? Half in, half out, half saved, half lost. How many sit in church, nodding to the sermon, yet refusing to let go of secret sins? How many read scripture, yet twist it to suit their desires? How many think, I'll follow God later, I'll change when I'm ready? But when is later? And will you be ready? Because if you wait too long, you may wake up in this place, looking into the mirror of eternity, realizing you never truly belong to heaven. The people in Hades cannot change their fate, but you can. You can choose now to surrender completely, to love God fully, to serve Him with all your heart, not half. Because a divided heart will never enter heaven. And one day you will stand before Him, whole and redeemed, or scarred and broken. The choice is yours. You have seen Hades. You have heard their screams, the crushed, the drowning, the burning, the regretful. Their pain is endless. Their fate is sealed. But you're still breathing. Your story is not over. Your eternity is not yet decided. One day, you will take your last breath. Your body will grow still. Your soul will rise. And in that moment, you will know. You will see what awaits. Glory or torment. Light or darkness. Hope or despair. Will you open your eyes? Will you wake in radiant light, embraced by the warmth of heaven? Or will you find yourself in the depths of Hades, crying out for mercy that will never come? Do not wait to find out. Do not gamble with eternity. This is your moment, your chance, your warning. Drop everything now. Surrender. Repent. Call out to God while you still can, because time is running out. And when it does, there will be no second chances. This is your time. Cry out to Him now. Do not leave this place without declaring your faith. Write your prayer below. Ask for mercy. Ask for salvation. Ask for heaven. Say, Lord, save me. Say, Father, forgive me. Say, Jesus, I surrender. Let the world see your faith. Let God hear your voice. Because one day, when your time comes, He will remember